Good morning, ladies and gentlemen here. Thank you so much for making the time to be part of this important focus group discussion that we will have today. My name is Andrea, and I will be your moderator for the next 30 minutes approximately. And my role here is not to contribute my own opinion, but to act as a neutral facilitator to guide our conversation and to ensure that everyone is heard and to keep us productively on track. And before we begin, I would like to go around so we all know who is here and who will participate in this forum. So could we start from you? Could you state your name?
Okay, hello everyone. My name is Bryant.
Okay, hello everyone. My name is Adinda.
Hello everyone, my name is Danicha.
Hello everyone, my name is Naomi.
Hello everyone, my name is Vlea.
Hello everyone. My name is Karina.
Hello everyone, my name is Rifki.
Hello everyone, it's really nice to know you. And yeah, moving on, the goal of our session today is pretty clear, but it is a very ambitious one. Our goal is not to debate or to reach a unanimous verdict, but to collectively explore the complex layer of Suharto's legacy and to understand the different perspectives that make the national hero proposal so contentious and as well as the impact for Indonesia and its citizens. We are here to map the landscape of this issue and not to conquer it. So to begin, let's set the stage. The recent proposal to name Suharto a national hero has sparked intense public discussion, a debate that centers on the fundamental tension, the acknowledgement of his economic and developmental record of one hand, and the profound concerns over human rights and governance on the other. This is the central dilemma we will be exploring together today. And to give our exploration pretty much a clear structure, we will use official criteria for a national hero as our lens. While there are several points, the most relevant for our discussion today are the first one, that the individual is recognized for performing a great deed or lifelong service for the nation. The second one is that their action had a positive and lasting impact on national development. The third one is that they possess moral integrity and noble character. And the last one is that they never betrayed the nation. So we will be returning to this criteria throughout our conversation. Is it clear?
Clear.
Thank you. And finally, to ensure our time together here is respectful and also productive, I would also like to establish a few simple ground rules for today's HGD. So the first one is be respectful. We will listen to understand and not just to reply. So we may hear a very different perspective from everyone here. And that is totally fine. That is the point. So we will engage with the idea and not the person. And the second one is one speaker at a time. So I will be gently managing the flow. So please, everyone, if you would like to answer, raise your hand if you have a point to make, and allow the current speaker to finish their opinion first before you may answer. And the third one is focus on understanding. We are here to explore complexity and not to simplify it into for or against. This is not a debate. And the last one is for confidentiality. What is shared in this room stays here, and to encourage open and honest dialogue. So are we all comfortable with these rules?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. And with that foundation, let's begin our exploration. Okay, so for the opening question, to start our FGD, let's begin by looking at one major part of his legacy, of Suharto's legacy. Based on Article 24 of Law 2009, to obtain a title, Medal of Honor, an honorary title, one must meet general and specific requirements. One of the general requirements is great deed for the nation. Well, from your perspective, what were the most significant achievements in national development and stability during Suharto's era? And how do they relate to the great deed for the nation criteria? Would anyone like to answer? Okay, Faye, you may answer.
Okay, thank you for the question. First of all, I just want to state that, of course, I wasn't there to witness how the new order of Suharto's leadership worked, but based on available data and history, there were several successes of the new order under Suharto's leadership. First, in the economic sector, there's a program called 5-Year Development Plan, or Repelita. This program succeeded in reducing inflation from 650% to 120% in a short time. And because of this program, Indonesia's economic growth increased by 7%, and that helped reduce poverty rates in Indonesia. Second, in the agricultural sector, there's a program called the Green Revolution Program. Under this program, farmers were empowered to the point that Indonesia achieved full self-sufficiency. Farmers were introduced to the use of artificial fertilizers, pesticides, high-quality seeds, modern equipment, and new agricultural cultivation. After implementing the Green Revolution, production yields increased significantly. Another success that still has an impact today is the establishment of community health centers or puskesmas and integrated health service posts or posyandu. The design of family planning or KB and the formation of the logistics agency or bulog, which aimed at controlling the prices of basic necessities.
Well, thank you so much, Faye. It's wonderful to hear that Suharto actually managed to make some programs that are very successful, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, would anyone like to respond to this
Can I?
opinion? Yes. Faye.
Okay, thank you, Andrea and Faye. So continue from Faye argument, based on the contribution, Suharto can be regarded as a national hero because he fulfilled the established criteria. The first one is Indonesian citizenship. So what we already know, Suharto was an Indonesian citizen throughout his life and eventually became the president of Indonesia. And the second is, a national hero must have integrity and exemplary character. Suharto was known for his discipline and modesty. He earned the title Father of Development or Bapak Pembangunan for his role in leading Indonesia toward industrialization, economic growth, and educational advancement through programs such as Repelita. He also maintained stability and suppressed rebellions, being credited with stabilizing the economy after the inflation and crisis of 1965, as well as ending the G30S. The third is service to the nation. Suharto made significant contribution to this country. His achievements include ending the old order government, stabilizing politics and the economy after G30S, and advancing development in various fields such as food self-sufficiency, transmigration programs, family planning, education, and infrastructure. He is also recognized for drastically reducing poverty, improving public health, and building a national telecommunications system through developed satellites. The fourth is national hero must be good conduct. Suharto was often praised for his simplicity, discipline, and ability to manage the economy, which promoted industrialization, economic stability, reduced unemployment, and supported development programs such as Repelita and the 9-year compulsory education policy. He was also known for his patriotism and made major contributions to the military, including his role as the flower of battle in the General Offensive of 1st March in 1949. And the last is national hero must have no criminal record. As we know, Suharto was never sentenced to prison by any court ruling with permanent legal force. Moreover, he was never imprisoned. That's all from me, Andrea.
Okay, thank you so much, Brian, and also Faye. This pretty much gives us a clear picture of the foundational arguments for our forum today. We have heard about Suharto's achievement, which is the Repelita, and also ending the old order government, and also his good conduct about his simplicity and discipline, and also he was also known for his patriotism and have made major contribution to the military. So now, let's explore the other dimension that complicate this picture, which is the other two of the general requirement of being a national hero, which is having moral integrity and exemplary character. This will be interesting.
Yes.
And yeah, the last one is not betraying the nation and state. Okay, so my question from what we have discussed and we have heard before is how can Suharto meet the requirements of moral integrity and loyalty to the nation, considering his history of KKN or corruption, collusion, and nepotism, and human rights abuses? Would anyone like to respond to this?
Can I?
Yes, Danicha, you may.
So, everyone, it's very difficult to argue that he meets the requirements of moral integrity and loyalty with to the nation when his leadership is closely associated with entrenched corruption and serious human rights abuse. Moral integrity is not shown through development alone, but it depends on ethical governance and protecting citizens from harm. The fact that KKN became deeply institutionalized during his era shows a clear failure to uphold the standards. Similarly, loyalty to the nation must include loyalty to its people. Moral integrity, repression of dissent, restriction on civil liberties, and widespread rights violations indicate action that harm citizens rather than safeguarded them. These are not merely historical flaws, they directly contradict the values that the criteria are meant to uphold. So, instead of meeting these requirements, his record significantly conflicts with them. The scale of systemic nature of both corruption and human rights abuse make it difficult to align his legacy with the ethical and constitutional principles demanded by the law. It's all for me.
Okay, thank you, Danicha. It's very interesting that we have now know that Suharto's leadership is pretty much really associated with KKN, right?
Yes.
And yeah, it became really deeply rooted during his era, and we have heard about his repression, his restriction of us civilians, and also the violation during his era, this was not a new information for us here. So, from that statement before, can a leader's developmental achievement that we have heard before be viewed in isolation from the methods that used to achieve them? So it's like we have heard from from Brian and Faye about his achievement from Repolita and so on and so on. But we have also heard from Danicha about his way of using violence, restriction, and repression to achieve those achievements. So yeah, can a leader developmental achievement be viewed in isolation from the methods used to achieve them? Why or why not? Would anyone like to answer? Okay, Karina.
Okay, thank you for the question. Okay, so can we judge a leader's achievements without looking at how they were achieved? I think a leader's developmental achievements cannot be separated from the methods used to achieve them. In this case, based on article, of course, Suharto is often praised for academic growth and stability. But these achievements came with a serious issues like human rights violations, corruptions, and the silencing of oppositions. So when we isolate development from these methods, we risk normalizing harmful practices and ignoring the people who suffer during the process. So therefore, development should not only be measured by numbers or infrastructure, but also by how it respects justice, transparency, and public freedom. So a leader's legacy must be seen as a whole about the progress and the cause. Otherwise, we create a dangerous narrative that success can excuse abuses of power. Maybe that's all from me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Karina. It is really an interesting opinion. Yeah, it is. I think it is true that we have to see this history as a whole, not just the achievement or just the way we achieve it, but this is something that parallels with each other, and yeah, and the progress, also the cause, could create a dangerous narrative that will excuse abuses of power if we just look the other way around. Okay, so now we have laid out really these different aspects from you guys. So let's bring it together by directly applying to the national hero criteria. Okay, so from our discussion before, what does this tell us about what the title of national hero should represent in modern democracy? It is primarily about material contribution, or must it also encompass ethical leadership?
Okay, may I?
Yes, Naomi?
Okay, thank you so much, Andrea. So for me personally, I agree that ethical leadership makes a great contribution for the country, as heroes are people who walk with their hearts and their minds, not only driven solely by ego. Okay, so in this modern democracy, heroes are easily found in our daily life, not only in visible leaders but also in civilians, proven by we used to have a Gojek driver as our hero figure, right? And a hero is a person who can bring justice rather than erase it. And they're the ones who are walking and fighting with a sense of humanity, moral values, and fairness, which absolutely we cannot find those in Suharto. So I'm not in the line with Brian and what Faye said before, because we can take the example from Marsina, who's also just given the title of National Hero back on the National Heroes Day with Suharto. And Marsina is the person who really fought for the other laborers. She also sought justice and brought the filthy truth out of the place where she worked in, and which resulted in the regime under Suharto's leadership back then. And she was silenced and she was killed because she was just being trying to be a person who fight for the justice, right? And these unethical gestures of Suharto are globally acknowledged by people all around the world, not only by most Indonesians. So that proves that he actually has a criminal records, but the history just does not show it, right? And this brings me personally, an Indonesian, a handful of shame, knowing that a human rights abuser is given the hero title. And also, I have read so many global articles about talking about this event, about Suharto's new title, despite the gross human rights violation he has done, which disgusts even foreigners and makes them wonder what kind of country we're living in. That also makes me wonder which country am I living in. That's all for me.
Yeah, interesting, right, everyone?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's really compelling how a victim like Marsina and Suharto as the perpetrator is being honored and given the same achievement and title at the same time.
Yes.
Okay, it's really interesting. Okay, from what Naomi have laid out before, would anyone like to respond?
May I?
Yes, Tina, you may.
Alright, nothing from what Naomi said. So, in today's democracy, those given the title of hero must also represent of moral values, ethical courage, integrity, and principles that can serve as public role models. Material things without ethics can glorify a productive but immoral person, and ethics without concrete contributions can render the title empty. The title of hero extends beyond material or military contributions. Although Suharto had a long history in our country's military, particularly in territorial operations and government restructuring, the moral value of maintaining the nation's integrity was absent from his character. Furthermore, the major human rights violations involving the kidnapping of activists during the New Order era in 1998 also indicated him as a perpetrator. This tarnished track record of moral values is considered to undermine the state's accountability and the very meaning of hero. That's all from me.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Linda, for your opinion. Yeah, I think it is correct, which is a person's values and ethic must align to become a hero, to become a public role models, because as we all know, a hero should be our role model, right? Right. Yeah, and it is also fit the criteria that we have discussed before, which was the third criteria to become a national hero, that they must possess a moral integrity and a noble character. Okay, so from what Naomi and Dinda have stated before, do you guys think there is a way for the state, for Indonesia, to acknowledge his role, Suharto's role and impact, without conferring the morally absolute title of a national hero? Okay, Rifki?
Thank you for the question. Yes, the state can still acknowledge his impact without granting the morally absolute title of national hero. One way to do this is through non-form of recognition, such as documenting his economic or developmental contribution in public archives, museums, or educational materials. These forms acknowledge the influence he had, especially in areas like infrastructure or national stability, while still being transparent. about the controversies surrounding human rights and corruption. By doing so, the state prefers historical accuracy, avoids glorifying his leadership uncritically, and upholds national values. So, recognition is still possible, but through contextualist acknowledgement rather than a heroic title. As Karina said earlier, this action may result in the justification of harmful practicals and abuse of the power. Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Rifki, for your opinion. Yeah, I think it is interesting that there is actually another way for our state to, acknowledge Suharto's achievement from what Brian and we have said it before, which was, as Rifki said, is documenting that achievement that preserve a correct history for Indonesian citizens. Okay, thank you so much, Rifki, for your final point. Well, that brings us to our discussion to a close. And yeah, I would like to take a moment to summarize the rich landscape that we have mapped out together today. From what I'm hearing, our discussion is really a collective recognition of a very deeply complex figure, which was Suharto. So yeah, on one hand, we have very compelling arguments about the scale of material development from the economic stability through realitas, we have outline, and also the infrastructure. Indonesia achieved full self-sufficiency state, and social programs like Puskesmas and Posyandu, and also family planning that we have highlighted before. And yeah, these are the achievements that form the core argument, which was the great deed for the nation, which was the first argument. And on the other hand, we have also explored the significant complexities that comes with this, to rival the criteria before. As Danicha have argued, that Suharto's systemic KKN and human rights abuses present a profound challenge to the criteria of moral integrity and loyalty to the nation. Karina have also emphasized that a leader's developmental achievement cannot be viewed in isolation from the methods that they use to achieve those achievements. And this tension finally led us to a very crucial synthesis about the very meaning of the title itself. As Naomi and Adinda have discussed with us before, that in this modern democracy, a national hero must also represent not just material contribution, not just achievement, but also ethical leadership and moral values that can serve as a role model for the nation. And on the other hand, a national hero should also be able to represent our country and not to bring the global perspective against our country itself. So not to bring Indonesia at a shame. So, and finally, Rifki have offered a potential way forward, suggesting that Indonesia could find ways to acknowledge this impact contextually without conferring that morally absolute title of a national hero. Therefore, the government should reconsider the decision to give Suharto a national hero title, and it also needs to acknowledge the impact made from the action both to Indonesian citizens and the international view towards our country, refraining people from the justification of human rights violation. Well, yeah, I think our discussion today is not just a simple yes or no, do I agree with you, do I do not agree with you, but it is a very much a fundamental discussion about our historical memory, our national values, and also what we choose to glorify as a society. Well, everyone, we have reached the end of our 30 minutes discussion, and I would like to extend my sincere thanks to all of you guys here, to the 7 of you, for your exceptionally thoughtful, respectful, and also very insightful contribution. And yeah, your analysis was very depth and willing, and you guys are able to engage with each other. And yeah, I think this is a very productive session, so thank you so much. And yeah, that concludes our focus group discussion. Thank you all very much
Thank you, Andrea, for being the amazing moderator for us.
Yeah, Andrea,
Thank you.
Thank you
for
guys.
you all.
Thank
you.